Good evening. We're going to get started here in just a minute. If everybody can take their seats, there's lots of seats available. Come on down.
Write it in here. Here, right where your handwriting.
Good evening. We'd like to welcome you and thank you for coming to the State of the City address. I'm Shaz Roth. I'm the President and CEO of the Pajaro Valley Chamber of Commerce and Agriculture. And we'd like to start this evening with just a brief moment of silence in honor of those that lost their lives in the tragedy this week in Las Vegas. Thank you. On behalf of the Chamber in the city, we'd like to say a great big thank you to the Owl Family Properties for sponsoring tonight. They have been so generous with our community, and we just want to thank them for their support. And now we'd like to thank our dignitaries for being here this evening with us. We're going to start with Taylor from Jimmy Panetta's office. Congressman Jimmy Panetta, if you can wave. Thank you for being here, Taylor. Johnny DeAnda, and he's with Assemblymember Ana Caballero's office. Thank you. And is Maureen McCarty here with Assemblymember Mark Stone? Well, we want to thank Mark Stone for serving anyway. And Greg Caput, Santa Cruz Supervisor. There he is. Thank you for being here, Greg. And now I'd like to introduce our City Council. Mayor Oscar Rios, Felipe Hernandez, Jimmy Dutra, Lowell Hurst, Dr. Nancy Bilicic, Trina Kaufman-Gomez, and Rebecca Garcia. Thank you for being here. And I'd also like to thank our Board of Directors for the Pajaro Valley Chamber of Commerce and Agriculture. If you can just please stand quickly. Our chairman of the board is Kirk Schmidt. Oh, there's Wendy. Fia Oman, Megan Solano, John Kegabine, Ramona Allen, Marcia Nelson, and the chair of our Political Action Committee is Renee Mello. Well, we have a really great information-packed evening for you, so I want to introduce Mayor Oscar Rios.
Good evening. Buenas tardes. It is so nice to see all of you here. Being in this afternoon here, it just really shows how Watsonville is coming and has come together. As you see Watsonville from the air, it's really an incredible city that we live. I think people even call it a paradise. And more important, being here today, it shows the kind of unity that we are need in this country right now, more than ever. That we need to come together and work together. And this is what is being shown this afternoon here by all of us being here. The first slide that I want to present you here is really to show the splendor of our city, the surroundings, the mountains. Sometimes we take it for granted, these beautiful mountains, and the sloughs, the birds, the agriculture fields, incredible amount of businesses that we have now and becoming more. And also a variety of types. So sometimes I think that we get used to seeing this wonder, this beauty that we surround us. And if we take it for granted. Somebody just said that we have thousands of birds right now flying all over. And we take it for granted. We say, it's another bird. But it's just another mountain. But it's just not. It's just a wonderful mountain. It's a wonderful sloughs. And this is where we live. We live in a paradise. A small little paradise. The second slide that I want to show you is also the community that we have, the rich culture, the history. Next year we'll be celebrating 150 years. Watsonville has had many different nationalities come and gone and stay, but Watsonville has been built by immigrants. Watsonville was home of Indians, American Indians, Native people. So we have a long history here, and that's the culture that we need to nurture more. And we need to continue not only exposing and showing our diversity by the different programs, by the different things that we do, from presenting our arts and our crafts, but we show a community that is just multinational. And if you see it on the 4th of July, this last 4th of July, I was standing right there, and a gentleman came. I was at the end already and watching the parade pass by. And one gentleman passed by and says, where does all these people come out? Well, we're all here. We're all here, but we can see it in our festivities. I heard the fairground broke record this time because people are coming to see it. And it's showing the vibrancy that we have in our town. It's our rich culture. And the last one that I want to show you, this last slide shows the downtown, shows the historical town that we see in different pictures. We go to different restaurants. There's some of the historical pictures. At one time, there used to be a Chinatown here. At one time, there used to be parades. I remember I even just saw a picture of our Councilwoman Garcia being a queen in one of the 16th of September celebrations. That she says there were thousands of people. There were Chinese parades at one time in the 1900s. So our history is one of different nationalities, and here we are today. That's why I think it's by us being here and by us bringing the kind of different things that you're going to be hearing today is also trying to put forward to all of us the challenge. How do we contribute to our city? How do we share ideas to our cities? How do we become not only the pass-through for all the tourism that goes to Carmel, Monterey, and Santa Cruz, but how do we get them to stop here? How do we get them to also see the beauty that we see every day? How do we get to do that? And I think that's the challenge. I think today our city is one of the most business-friendly city surrounded. I really believe that. Because we need to have a strong economy. We need to have jobs that people can go out and spend and keep our economy strong. We need to also work with all the different organizations. As we work with the businesses, with the farming community, we also need to work with the nonprofit. We need to work with the schools. We need to work with volunteers. We need to work with everybody that contributes to making this great city be what it is. So on behalf of the City Council that is here, on behalf of our staff, I want to welcome you. I want to thank you for being here, and let's continue to make Watsonville an example city to the world. Thank you very much.
All right, there we go. Well, good evening. My name is Matt Huffaker. I'm the Assistant City Manager, and I have the pleasure of serving this beautiful community. It's my honor tonight to be here, and it's great to see so many of our community partners that we work with closely on a day-to-day basis here to support it. Watsonville, as you've already heard from the mayor, has a lot to offer and has a lot going on. And I have the pleasure this evening of talking a little bit about some of the major accomplishments that have occurred over the past year, and some of the great work that our city departments are working on and will continue to work on over the next year. The Community Development Department has been extremely busy over the past year. You can see building all over town that shows you that that's the case. Over 1,000 new permits were issued last year by the Community Development Department. And one of the key pieces of that new development coming into town is something that we all desperately need, that California desperately needs, which is more housing, and that's good news. There are over 322 new housing units coming into Watsonville that are currently in the pipeline. That includes 445 Main Street. This is the Terrace project, and this includes 54 units of market rate rental housing in the downtown area. It'll include a mix of new commercial and retail spaces on the ground floor, and is a key piece of our efforts to revitalize the downtown. Another 48 units are under construction on Harkins Slough Road, overlooking our beautiful Watsonville wetlands. This project is also already under construction and will be completed next year. In addition to the residential construction we have underway, a really exciting commercial development is already in progress on Beach Road. This project is being developed by Elite Development. It'll include 2 new hotels, a variety of restaurants and retail space, as well as a new gas station and market. It represents the largest commercial development that Watsonville and the County of Santa Cruz has seen in years. As we continue to see industrial and light industrial uses in high demand in Watsonville, the former 62,000 square foot FedEx facility that was vacated when FedEx moved to its new distribution site has recently been released to 3 new companies that will be moving into town. That includes Threshold Vitamin and Supplements, Fox Shocks, which is a company that's well known to all of us here in Watsonville, as well as Harrell's, which is a nationwide fertilizer supplier. As part of the city's ongoing efforts to revitalize the downtown, as the mayor had mentioned earlier, we're moving forward with a downtown specific plan effort. This effort is focused on updating the city's downtown zoning to allow for the more vibrant mixed commercial uses that help many other downtowns thrive. We've also been working with our code enforcement staff to work on more proactive commercial code enforcement efforts in the downtown and throughout the community. As part of this effort, we recently held a downtown business workshop and had about 30 local business owners attend, and that was all focused on helping to empower them to market themselves, to promote themselves, to work on merchandising within their store, have regular operating hours, all things to help them succeed and help the downtown succeed. Economic development continues to be a key focus for the city. Over the past year, we've worked hard at streamlining our development review and permitting process to make it faster and help our staff to be more responsive to these development projects. Business attraction efforts continue, and we've helped with numerous businesses in Watsonville to expand over the past year. As part of this effort, the city recently developed and launched a new city website, making city services more accessible online to businesses and residents than they ever have been before. We also developed a new branding and logo to work towards enhancing the community image and to really show the rest of the community, for those that don't know Watsonville, all that this community has to offer. Watsonville continues to be at the forefront of fiber technology. Many don't know this, but Watsonville has a state-of-the-art fiber network that's already installed in Watsonville. This is something that the city of Santa Cruz has also started working on. Most recently, in partnership with Cruise.io, Cabrillo College, and Digital Nest, this month we'll be flipping the switch on free Wi-Fi in the Plaza, which will make internet access more available, high-speed internet access more available to our residents and to youth that are attending Cabrillo College and Digital Nest programs. Cruise.io is also now open for business in Watsonville. Utilizing the city's fiber backbone, they now offer gigabyte wireless services to businesses in the downtown area, with plans to expand over the next year. Something you may have heard about, the Monterey Bay Community Power is a new community choice energy model. Just a fancy way of saying that residents in Watsonville and as well as Monterey and San Benito counties in the near future will have the opportunity to purchase, in addition to PG&E power that's generated from renewable sources. And you'll be hearing a lot more about that over the coming months. Watsonville's reputation as a place for business is growing, and I wanted to take a moment to highlight all of the new businesses that are coming to town, as well as the businesses that are expanding. This is just a sample of the many businesses that have chosen to make Watsonville home over the past year and helping to grow our local economy. In partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, the Watsonville Wednesdays lunch in the Plaza has been going strong over the past year, with businesses and community partners gathering once a month over lunch to connect. If you haven't had a chance to make it out, I would encourage you to come out and join us. Lunch is usually provided by one of our great local businesses, and it's a great opportunity to network and connect. As part of our marketing and outreach efforts, we recently launched a new business spotlight video, and this was an opportunity for us to help highlight all of our great local businesses. We wanted to give you a quick clip and glimpse of one of those as we highlighted a local business, Queen's Shoes.
Queen Shoes and More is a shoes and clothing boutique that focuses in bringing big city glam to Watsonville. We provide an opportunity for women to dress classy and chic in an effortless and elegant way. We bring unique pieces that transcend trends and fashion, and in return make staple pieces in your closet.
Hi, I'm Cindy Hernandez, and I'm the owner and designer at Queen Shoes and More.
So if you haven't had a chance to check out Queen Shoes, please do. If you have other ideas for businesses that we can highlight, also let us know, because we're always looking for ways to help highlight our great local businesses. Parks and Community Services is responsible for maintaining and managing all of our parks, many of our community youth programs, as well as a variety of special events throughout the year that help make Watsonville special. This summer, the Downtown Plaza was re-energized with a free summer concert series. And this program, yes, it was great. This program was successful in bringing hundreds of people to our beautiful downtown on Thursday evenings. Folks that came down for the concerts also went to local restaurants and brought more business into the downtown area. So we have plans of expanding and growing the program next year. Our hope is to engage more local businesses and restaurants next year to be part of that as well. So you'll see more about that. Work on the Main Street Beautification project is near completion. This has been underway for the past year. You may have noticed the new medians running down Main Street that include new trees, new landscaping, intersection, and safety improvements. And starting today, as a matter of fact, we're starting with the striping and adding decorative crosswalks to the Main Street. That will complete the project in the coming weeks. We also received $180,000 from PG&E as part of their Pipelines Pathway project. These funds can be used for planting trees and public parklands throughout the community. Our Great Parks Division has been using these funds to leverage making landscaping and tree enhancements throughout Watsonville, and you'll see those going up over the next year. You may have noticed the 16 beautiful mosaics that were installed along Main Street. This was part of a public art project that was aimed at celebrating the rich history and cultural diversity of Watsonville. The project was so successful, we're looking at opportunities to expand it around other parts of town. But if you haven't seen them, go check them out. They're incredible. Under the leadership of our airport director, Rayvon Williams, this has been another big year for the airport. One of the key focuses has been on airport safety improvements. While that might look like a robot from Star Wars, that is actually new approach lighting that'll make it safer for planes to land at the airport, especially in low visibility conditions. The airport staff also worked with county and adjacent property owners to trim and remove trees that were hazards in the airspace, making it safer for planes that are coming in and out of the airport. Another major milestone for the airport includes the completion of the United Flight Services hangar. This included an additional 14,000 square feet of new hangar space at the airport. And a project that we're really excited about, you may have already heard something about this, the commercial area of the airport continues to grow with the addition of the new Watsonville hangar project. This project will repurpose 8,000 square feet of World War II barracks located at 45 Aviation Way. The anchor tenant for this project is going to be Beer 30. You may have visited their SoCal location, but they're going to be expanding in Watsonville with a larger concept. It'll include outdoor seating, fire pits, outdoor games, something that really the whole community can enjoy. The project will also include a variety of other restaurants and retail spaces as part of the mixed-use project. Did any of you attend this year's Fire in the Sky 4th of July event? Well, you weren't alone. There were over 6,000 people in attendance at the event, and it was a huge success. In fact, we had so many hungry people, we ran out of food, and probably could have used a couple more restrooms, so we'll work on that for next year. But it was a great success. It included food trucks, flybys, free movie, and of course the amazing fireworks show. It also gave our fire department an opportunity to practice. The library continues to be one of the gems of Watsonville and really the envy of other communities. The library, believe it or not, this is an amazing statistic, served over 537,000 users last year. 537,000 visitors came through the library, which is incredible, over 500,000. Those users checked out over 370,000 books and materials, which is really an incredible accomplishment. The library also offers a variety of innovative programs. One such program is the STEAM program, funded by the Friends of the Library. This program promotes learning in science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and utilizes recycled materials, giving local youth an opportunity to learn about math and science in a fun way. This year, for the first time, the library partnered with one of our local craft breweries, Elkhorn Slough, to offer an event that explores the art of craft beer making. I was sad to miss this one. It also included a taste of a variety of different craft beers at the event in the library. So who said librarians don't have fun? Public Works, from providing clean drinking water to managing weekly trash pickups, Public Works and the Utilities Department has a direct impact on our daily quality of life. Usually when you need their help, you need it fast. It might surprise you to learn that over half of our water pipes are between 50 to 80 years old. So we've been making significant investments into improving our water infrastructure, including 1.5 miles of new pipeline that we completed over the past year. The department also produced over 2.2 billion gallons of water for the community. That's the equivalent of 3,332 Olympic-sized swimming pools, which is a lot of water, a major accomplishment. Along with investments in our water infrastructure, wastewater has replaced over 3,100 feet of sewer pipe, cleaned over 200,000 feet of sewer mains. Any volunteers for that? I wouldn't want to do it. But don't take my word for it. Here's an inside look of our sewer system maintenance brought to you by one of our own, Ruben Tellas.
As part of the wastewater collection team, we are responsible for servicing over 150 miles of sewer lines and 15 sewer lift stations throughout the city. The water you use at your home to wash dishes, take showers, brush your teeth, and flush your toilet travels many miles before getting to the wastewater treatment plant. Our job is to ensure these pipelines are fully cleaned and functioning every day of the year for everyone's safety. I appreciate knowing our work helps keep our community healthy now and for generations to come.
It's a tough job that requires a lot of work that we often don't see and take for granted, but it's pretty important. So roadway traffic and safety improvements. You've probably seen a lot of work occurring throughout town. I know Freedom Boulevard has been a lot of fun for us as the improvements are being made. And so we're going to continue focusing on ways that we can improve traffic safety throughout the community. That'll include Freedom Boulevard Adaptive Traffic Signal Program, which is really a fancy way of saying we're trying to make it so all of us are spending less time at red lights and able to pass through Freedom Boulevard a little bit quicker and more efficiently. So that'll be an important project. We've also been doing some red curbing throughout town. That work has really been focused on trying to make it safer for pedestrians and bicyclists as they're traveling throughout town, as well as the Main Street improvement projects that we mentioned earlier. For the first time in many years, we now have 2 dedicated funding sources for transportation projects. With the voters' approval of Measure D and now SB 1, the city will be receiving approximately $1.75 million annually to go towards transportation, traffic, infrastructure, and road improvements. These funds will be used for much needed repairs to potholes, improve sidewalks and bicycle lanes, help maintain trails, and improve traffic safety in our neighborhoods. The city has also begun a $2 million rail trail project funded from state grants, the Land Trust, and Friends of the Rail Trails. And this is part of the larger rail trail project throughout the county that runs along our rail corridor and will provide an excellent bicycle and pedestrian pathway. Pinto Lake is a great community asset, but has struggled with a toxic algae bloom that some of you may know about in recent years. The Public Works Department was successful in securing a $750,000 grant to fund the treatment of the lake, which occurred this past year, and I'm happy to report that that treatment has been successful and has brought that problem under control, which is great news. You might not know this, but our fire department is one of the oldest fire departments west of the Mississippi. I have it on good authority from our fire chief, right? Starting in 1861, our fire department has been providing critical life safety and medical services to our community for over 150 years, which is really incredible. In 2016, the department responded to 4,700 calls for service. So far this year, they've responded to 3,600 calls for service. They keep very busy. The Measure G public safety measure has been put to good use. We've purchased 2 new fire engines and can finally retire the fire truck you see in front of you. It's probably been in service for too long. We're also, for the first time in many years, are fully staffed with the fire department. We recently added 3 new firefighters at the graduation just last week. And through the hard work of our fire department and our firefighters, overtime has been significantly reduced. Another really exciting thing for firefighters, you might not know this, is personal protective equipment. Who knew? And Measure G has also funded new uniforms, other life-saving equipment such as Jaws of Life, fire equipment, gas monitoring equipment, and thermo equipment, which all help them to do their jobs on a daily basis. So with that, enough of me, and it's my pleasure to introduce our Chief of Police, David Honda.
All right, another fact you might not know about the fire department. It's the oldest west of the Mississippi, but I think our chief, you were the first chief also, weren't you? I'm sorry, it's just the police fire thing, right? Anyways, good evening. Thank you for being here tonight. It is my honor to be able to be your chief and present to you some of the successes that we've encountered this year and also some of the challenges that we're facing going forward. So tonight I'm going to go over some of our crime stats for last year and coming into this year. We'll talk about the funding that we did with Measure G, or the stuff we bought with Measure G funding. I'll update you on our staffing. I will also update you on our prevention and intervention programs and some of the stuff we want to do moving forward. So if you look at this slide, our crime stats were rising and rising and rising. And in 2015, it peaked out. We had the highest crime rate in Watsonville since 2009. So at the beginning of 2016, we sat down, we reorganized our police department, we focused on hiring new staff, and we came up with another strategy to combat this. So I'm happy to say in 2016, our crime rates went down overall 11.3%. Violent crimes went down 21.5%. Property crimes as a whole went down 9.7%. Unfortunately, auto thefts went up 21.9%. but that was not specific to Watsonville. Statewide, crime or auto thefts actually went up over 20% statewide, so it's just not specific to Watsonville. But what we are doing, we are partnering with our CHP colleagues and our auto theft task force, and we're conducting, focused enforcement in the town of Watsonville, and hopefully we'll bring that crime rate down. But all that said, if you look at, we haven't had a homicide. We've had the lowest homicide rate since 2002. Robberies, it's at its lowest rate since we've even been tracking the crime. So it goes all the way back to 1985. That's as far as we can go back. That's a huge testament to what we've been doing this year, I think. So Measure G, that has been a lifeline for your police department. Without it, we wouldn't be here where we're at today. So some of the things we've done with Measure G funds, we continue to invest in our intervention and prevention programs with PAL and our Caminos program, which I'll talk about in a little bit. We've completed purchasing over 1/3 of our dilapidated fleet, and we're continuing to purchase new cars as the money comes in. We've also replaced most of our old radios and a lot of our old computers with new technology. But most important of all, we increased our staffing levels, or our authorized staffing levels, from 68 to 75. So last year, I reported to you that we were down to 63 fully staffed, fully trained police officers, and we had 10 vacancies. Well, I'm happy to report now, this year, we have only 1 vacancy with a line of people that are in backgrounds to fill that spot. That's a huge accomplishment for us. And not only that, with the hiring we've been doing, we have 2 recruits that just graduated from the academy. They're currently in our field training program. We have 4 more recruits that are currently in this academy going on right now, and then we just hired 2 more that start the next academy in 2 weeks. So we are almost completely fully staffed, and the first time in years. So with that, now that we have staffing, one of the goals we had for this year is to create a specialized team to do some specialized enforcement. So we created our Special Investigations Unit, or SIU. And their primary goal is to address violent crimes and gang-related activities. In addition to that, we created our downtown officer, who started just about a month ago. And that officer is specifically for the downtown area, for residents and businesses, to help address the quality of life issues that our downtown has been facing over the years. And so hopefully this will be a positive for our community going forward. We also created another traffic enforcement officer, which I'll talk about a little later. But now, another key component of our crime reduction strategy is our youth engagement. So I told you last year that we wanted to expand our youth programs, and we have done that with our PAL and our Caminos program. So our Police Activities League is a great program for our Watsonville youth. This year alone, we had 211 kids participate in some of the programs that PAL put on. And these are 16 session-based programs throughout the year. And that includes programs like martial arts, like Taekwondo and Judo. We also have after-school programs where the kids can come and do their homework and have tutoring. We also do day trips. We took the kids to the aquarium, to the state capitol. We also took them on college tours so they can prepare themselves and get excited about going to school. And we also do overnight camping excursions, which leads me into our next program, is our Caminos program. Our Caminos program has been around for a couple of years now, and it's been very successful. And they partner with the PAL with some of the pro-social activities. But the goal of our Caminos program, if you don't remember, is to reduce recidivism in our youth for our first offenders in Watsonville. So if a child commits a crime, instead of going to juvenile hall, they get sent to us in our Caminos program. And it's a way to hold them accountable for their actions by using pro-social activities, evidence-based approaches such as counseling, therapy, and mentorship. And this program couldn't be around without our partnership. So we partner with our very own Pajaro Valley Prevention and Student Assistance, which is PVPSA, our Police Activities League, the Santa Cruz County Office of Education, and our Santa Cruz Probation Department. So since its inception, we have had 386 kids enter the program. 84% of those successfully completed the program, and out of those 84%, 91% of them did not recidivate within 6 months. That's a huge accomplishment, and I think Just the collaboration of all those organizations deserves a round of applause. So in addition to those programs that kids have to complete social activities, so they completed over 14,350 community service hours. So between both PAL and Caminos providing those pro-social activities, I think that's just a great opportunity, and it gives our youth a pathway to success. So the next thing I want to talk about is mental health. Mental health is one of the #1 concerns facing law enforcement across the nation. I reported to you last year that over 50% of all officer-involved shootings involve some type of mental health component. One of the major cities in the Bay Area just had their 7th officer-involved shooting. All 7 of those shootings they had, the person they shot was suffering from a mental health crisis. To me, that's not acceptable, and we were doing our best to avoid those kind of contacts. So last year, we partnered with our county health services, and we created our CARE team, which stands for Crisis Assessment, Response, and Engagement. Now, this is a team where it's a full-time officer and a full-time mental health liaison, and they partner together. And their full-time job is to go out and contact people on the street, people that they think are suffering from a mental health issue, and address those issues before it comes to a crisis, and officers have to respond at a 911 call. So since last year, our CARE team has contacted 494 people. All of those people received either direct services or referrals to services such as food, shelters, drug and alcohol rehabilitation, veteran services, as well as medical services. And only once did the officer have to use his hands to compel that subject to cooperate. Only once out of almost 500 contacts. And not once did we have to use any less lethal devices, and no deadly force was needed at all. So I think that is a tremendous testament to the work that they're doing. Thank you. So having said that, Measure G, the focused enforcement we're doing, our CARE team, our PAL, a Caminos program, I think combined with the hard work of the men and women of the Watsonville Police Department has really made an impact on our crime rates. And I really truly believe that that's one of the major reasons why our crime rate has been dropping over this past year and a half. Now, as we move forward, although our crime rate is down, our traffic accident rates have been increasing dramatically over the last several years. Traffic accidents, injuries, and death associated with those accidents have skyrocketed, and it's unacceptable. So this is a priority for us as a police department. It's a priority for us as a city. So we applied for a grant from the Office of Traffic Safety, and we were awarded that grant just last month in the amount of $105,000. So with that money, we are going to do more visible enforcement throughout the community. We're going to do some DUI checkpoints to reduce the alcohol-related accidents. We are actually going to create some programs to teach bicycle safety and pedestrian safety to our kids. And we also are going to do an outreach program to our homeless communities, because a lot of these accidents, the injuries that resulted from those accidents, involve our homeless people. So we really have to reach out to them as well and do some kind of education. In addition to the grant, we increased our staffing in our traffic enforcement unit. We now have 3 officers and a sergeant, as opposed to 2 officers on motorcycles. And I believe that will really make an impact in our community as well. So over the next year, I hope by this time next year, I'll be able to come back to you and report that our traffic accidents are down to 0 and we have no deaths and no injuries. So that, at least that's our vision for the future, right? So as we continue our efforts, I still want to invest as a department in technology. Last year, I talked about having an online program for report writing, so you can call the police department. Instead of calling the police department, you can go online and do a report instead of waiting hours for a police officer to respond. We haven't got there yet, but we're pretty close. So hopefully by next year, I'll be able to tell you that we completed it, and you can just contact us anytime through the website. The other really important piece of technology that I want to have installed before, well, hopefully before the end of this year, but more likely towards the springtime, is body-worn cameras. Body-worn cameras is a necessary piece of equipment that all officers need to have nowadays. It increases trust in the community, it increases transparency for the department. It also increases accountability, not for also for my officers, but also for the community as a whole. So I think that's the necessary thing we need to do, and we're looking forward to implementing those hopefully in the spring at the latest. So before I wind up my little report tonight, I want to draw attention to the patches that I'm wearing. I don't know if you've noticed, they're different and they're pink in color. So October, does everyone know what October is, besides just the month? It is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so the Watsonville Police Department, along with other agencies throughout California, are joining together and we're doing the Pink Patch Project. And this is a way to generate awareness for this horrible disease. It's also a way to generate some money to help fight and do some research to combat this cancer. So we are selling these. They're $10 a piece for each patch. All proceeds will go forward to breast cancer awareness and research. So I will have a table outside after in the reception, and you can buy and I encourage you to purchase a patch tonight. And even if you don't, take a picture with an officer, put it on Facebook, get the word out, generate that awareness so we can eventually just get rid of this evil disease. So having said that, that's it. I'm going to introduce our next speaker. Now, our next speaker is kind of a Renaissance man. He's a former council member, former mayor, council member, and former mayor again. And he is a current council member, current mayor pro temp, and our future mayor for next year, Lowell Hurst.
Thank you very much, Chief. You know, you can see what a pleasure it is to work with such a talented crew and the talent that that the city possesses, and so what a pleasure it is. You know, it's often said that, well, maybe not often, but it's sometimes said, particularly about me, that what's old is new again. And we are going to be celebrating our 150th birthday, and someone sent me a quote. You know, I occasionally repeat some quotes at the council table, but this one reads, "Wisdom doesn't necessarily come with age. Sometimes age just shows up all by itself." Well, you know, we've heard about some of the successes and challenges. These things don't really happen by themselves. You know, we need a lot of partners, and we need good partners, and we need mutual cooperation. You know, we need the cooperation of our federal agencies, our state agencies, our local agencies. We need the cooperation of Santa Cruz County and the city of Santa Cruz, and agencies like LAFCO and water boards and school district and others. And so we're really dependent upon the help of others to solve our problems and make our successes possible. And so we're pleased that we can try our best to create these partnerships, and we need cooperation and collaboration. And we need collaboration with local businesses. We need collaboration with local property owners and shopkeepers. And most of all, we really need cooperation from our residents and those voters that have kindly made it possible for me to return once again to the mayorship. So good policy implementation and administration and quality administration and even great implementation won't really do it all by itself. We have to have the partnerships and the outreach from others, and you're part of that group. You have an interest here today, obviously. Thank you very much for being here, and we hope that you will continue, and this is kind of the challenge and the ask, that you will continue to reach out and advise the city council to help steer the city and to be partnerships with the city and to, you know, make sure that, you know, we're on track, and when we're not, you know, you're free to express your views and tell us. And so we look forward to that. Let's have that call to action, and let's spread it far and wide, and let's make Watsonville the greatest city that it can possibly be. And with that, I would like to introduce our city manager, Charles Montoya. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you. So let's see if this thing is on. I think it's on. Is it on? Okay. Well, thank you for... Normally, I don't write speeches because when I do, I normally start stuttering. But first of all, I do want to thank Dr. Rodriguez for coming and joining us here from the school district. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for attending. You know, you look at kind of what we've kind of accomplished here, and it's not myself or Dave or Matt or Tamara. It is everybody, this community. You know, when I go out and I talk to people, I try to remind them that when our staff talks, we try to talk about the community, because just because I tell people there's lines on a border of a map where the city starts and it ends, relationships don't understand that. We have to cross over those barriers. And kind of what we've done a lot this last few years is just a lot of partnership, a lot of working together. And I think last year, and I'm going to say it again, I have a pretty incredible council. You know, we don't always get along, but you guys have made sure this community keeps pushing forward, and I can't ask for more than that. And so, and all the stuff that we've been doing, the staff, you know, I got to tell you, when people try to meet with me, they have to call, I call Andrea my boss. She fields all the calls and tries to squeeze my calendar in there. But it is really everybody in this community. It's part of this staff. It's Tamara and Beatrice, and you know, we're very fortunate, you know, that as a group, I tell, you know, the people I work with that the worst thing you can ever do to me is turn me into a boss. You know, I have the same kind of role, the same position, just do something different. And I think the first year I was here, I would stop my truck on the side of the road and there's a public works guy doing something, and they look at me and they're like, oh crap, something must have happened. The city manager's stopping to talk to me. But that's what we do. We create relationships, and we talk about relationships and the business community and just the relationships that we need to have with the school district, with the chamber, all that. I often tell my staff that, you know, I could sit back behind my desk and point a finger and say, hey, you guys go do this, or you guys go do that, or I can go do it myself. And I think it's more important that we, and what we do, we are out in the community, and we spend a lot of time there. And we look at some of the things that have happened over the last year, and I think it's been very unique this last year having the leadership of the council and Mayor Rios. Appreciate your steed this last year. And Lowell, yours next year. So, but I'm not going to keep talking up here too long. I just wanted to tell you all my sincerity and my appreciation. I do love my job, because I don't treat it like one. I have fun, and the people I work with, I'm fortunate to have them next to me. So, thank you all. I appreciate it. Oh, definitely wanted to thank the Chamber again, and the Al Family Properties, and also Elkhorn Slough Brewery for sponsoring our event later this evening, next door. So thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next door.